Hello, beautiful humans. This is Jaylene and Jules from the Empowering Women Project, and you're listening to the EWP podcast.
This podcast is for the women who know deep in their soul they are here for more. If you are done with the BS stories and limiting beliefs that are holding you back from your dreams becoming a reality,
come jump in the driver's seat and pave the way back home to her. This is a space for you to feel seen, heard, supported, and accepted for who you are, who you were, and who you're becoming.
Celebrating you wherever you are in your journey. Sit back, grab a tea or a wine, and come empower yourself with us. Jules and Day, let's grow. What if people judge me? What if women don't think what I have to share is valuable? Will anyone even show up or listen? I don't have enough experience. What if I get bullied or trolled online?
I'm not knowledgeable enough. I'm not good enough. Do I have enough time? Who will even listen? Am I delusional to think that I can really have my dream life?
Hello and welcome back to the EWP.
Hello, beautiful humans. I hope today is magical for you.
We are talking all things limiting beliefs today, something that is always very present for us. And, I think pretty much everyone. I can highly guarantee that everyone out there has limiting beliefs at some stage of their life or another.
Amen. There was like a quote I've listened to before that's like, at every new level, there's a new devil. And that's like the limiting beliefs and stuff like that come through. We've definitely worked through our fair share of limiting beliefs, and healed a lot as well, I guess. So let's go.
Oh my God, I love that. At every new level, there's a new devil. I've never heard that before.
Oh, haven't I said that to you before?
No.
It's like when you're smashing through your, how we have like glass ceilings, like when you're smashing through the next level, it's like you have all of these new limiting beliefs coming through. And like I've heard people that are like entrepreneurial that end up getting the wealth that they desired, then they had a fear of losing it. Like, that stuff. It's like all they wanted to do was be wealthy. And then next minute they're like, oh my God, now I have a fear of losing all this money. So it's like, every new level has a new devil.
That's cool to think of. And that's interesting as well, because I know, all of the things that we're doing on the side, like podcasting and healing and coaching and whatever is coming forward for us. Like I've been teaching for years and years. And if I really sit and think about it, it's what I'm already doing, but just in a different way, if that makes sense. But still, those limiting beliefs will creep in.
Yeah. Some hot tips around that. Just a little one here is just support yourself, to surround yourself with supportive humans. Like just before we got on to this episode, I was just talking about just some things with my coaching that I'm wanting to launch and stuff like that. And then we just worked through it together. And I was like, amen. Trust your intuition. Sometimes you just need someone to mirror something back to you and just give you a little hot tip. And sometimes it can be as simple as that.
Yeah, so true, isn't it? And just, I think the main message was like to trust yourself and to just trust your intuition. Because as much as you think that somebody else who's done it before you is going to have all the answers, you're you and you're different. And, you bring different value and different love and light. So, yeah, I think you just need to trust that intuition, babe.
Amen. Amen, sister.
Yeah. So anyways, there might be some people out there that are like, what even is a limiting belief?
100%. Limiting beliefs, stories we tell ourselves about who we are that hold us back from reaching our full potential. So thoughts or states of mind that we think are absolute truths and stop us from doing certain things. Convictions or opinions that prevent us from growing, achieving goals, taking risks, or becoming the people we want to be.
But guess what?
You can change them.
Yes.
Is that what you wanted me to say?
Answer me?
Yes, you can change them at any time. Like you can rewire your thoughts at any time. Like literally, you just need to grab that pen, girl, and start writing out all of the things that hold you back. The limiting beliefs.
So true. We literally, sometimes we let them hold us back for so long, and it's like, just do it. Just do it. Just trust yourself. Because you never know what beautiful opportunities are around the corner. And this really resonates with me because I had so many limiting beliefs with my healing circles. And as you know, I launched them in December and I had, 7 women come. And then moving forward the last few months, I'd have women be like, yes, 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 I'm coming, I'm showing up. And I was like, great. And I'd get all prepared. And then bam, there were, nobody was showing up for themselves except for Leah. And I know I've talked about this before in previous episodes, but I finally partnered up with somebody else and offered a subscription instead of just doing it via donations. And wowsy, it has made such a difference. And I was just sitting there last night because I had my first live learning, and I just remember sitting there and being like, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. I feel so aligned and, so home. Like, I just feel like I'm at home. Like, I know exactly where I want to be now. And I can't believe I had all of these self-limiting beliefs and doubts about myself. And look at how much value these women have gathered from tonight. Straight away, right after I got these DMs stating it was great. I loved it, and I was like, oh, this is what I needed to keep doing. And I could have easily stopped in February, like when I was in tears. But I was like, no, I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep going and work through the little nooks and crannies. And here we are.
It really is about the journey and not destination. Hey, like, because in that you've gained so much more self-belief in yourself. And then when you fully landed last night in that call, like, you just knew that's exactly where you're meant to be. But imagine if you gave up. Imagine.
I know. And how many people do give up, you know?
Yeah, it's hard and it's lonely sometimes when you're kind of on that journey of creating a new beliefs and a new life for yourself. It can get lonely. And yeah, but I'm proud of you, honey. I'm so proud
Thank
of you.
I'm proud of you too. And I cannot wait to see what comes forward, what you've been working away on your end. And we're just doing such magical things, It's just, it's so beautiful.
It really is. It really is. The world needs more people that are just like full of faith and hope and love and knowledge and wisdom just to share their stories and things that will work for them to help the next person. I really feel like it is a duty for the people that have been through things and have gotten out the other side to share what's helped them in order to help somebody else. Kind of doing like humanity a disservice if you really don't, I feel. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just going to read off our notes. Like, once you like become conscious of the beliefs that you're holding on to, then like that have been running subconsciously in the back of your mind for years and years and years, you can literally change them like at any given time in your life.
And how do you what do you find is most successful for yourself when you're trying to change your own limiting beliefs?
Identifying them. So like, for instance, the affirmations that we said at the start of this podcast episode were literally our own. These were our own that we've had to work through. So identifying them. And yeah, just like, obviously mine was I'm unworthy, no one's going to listen, all the rest of it. And recognizing that they are just a belief and they can be changed. And this is not woo-woo. This is literal science that you can change your belief systems. You're changing the neural pathways in your brain, which is very exciting. Like, yeah, so exciting.
I find one of the big things beyond identifying them is then speaking them out loud to, say, a friend. So I find that makes them more real and present. And I always find that your friends are going to be like totally honest with you and let you know, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I agree. Or they're going to be like, no, girl, slay it. Like, you've got this. So I find that makes it more realistic. And yeah, it just makes it like, okay, now it's out there into the universe. And I've got no choice. I've got to do this.
Yeah. Or if you're in therapy as well, working through that with your therapist, which I'm sure if you have a really good one, they would be working through it with you, or a coach as well. They would be, definitely working through your limiting beliefs with you. But if you don't have access to them right now, you can definitely write out your own, which we'll go through in later on in this episode, is writing out all of the beliefs on one side that are your current beliefs right now, and the beliefs that you're wanting to create on the other side of the piece of paper. So just creating them. And it's about feeling that emotion of how you're going to feel, you know, if you want to feel worthy, like feel that expansiveness in your body. You know, some people think they're ugly. Like start saying to yourself in the mirror when you're picking yourself apart, like, I am beautiful, I am stunning, I am sexy, I am, insert your desired affirmation here. Like actually feel into that emotion. Even if you don't feel it in your body right now, you'll eventually feel it. Yeah.
I find that, yeah, I find self-limiting beliefs and confidence really go hand in hand. Like I find if you have a low self-esteem at a particular point in your different eras, at your different chapters of your life, I find that if you're having low self-esteem, low confidence, that, you know, you'll have more self-limiting doubts and self-limiting beliefs. So it's almost like a little scale when you think about it.
100%. And you've mentioned in other episodes as well, like different parts of your cycle as well, where you can feel like more like hating on yourself than other parts of your cycle, which I'd really love to touch on that one day, get somebody on that can talk more into all of that. Because that, yeah, can be a contributing factor as well.
Yeah. If you are knowledgeable in the areas of women's bodies, menstruation, etc., please slide into our DMs because we would love to have somebody who has a wealth of knowledge about women's bodies and what the changes bring forward.
Yeah. And if you are like literally at the point of you've been running these programs and these beliefs for like 30 years, you know, like your whole life, it can feel really daunting to just start saying like, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm magnetic, I'm radiant, I'm whatever. I've been learning this in the course that I'm doing at the moment. And I am committed to feeling sexy. I am committed to feel beautiful. I am committed to, you know, insert affirmation here as well. And it just takes that pressure off and that kink in your body that like could have some resistance towards that affirmation, like the bold, I am beautiful, which you are totally beautiful and you are fucking sexy and you are magnetic, even if you don't feel it right now. But add, I am committed to, until you feel that, until you start committed to feeling like that. And then you can go into the I am more bold affirmations and statements.
And then it's almost like your body begins to trust itself, like begins to trust those thoughts and that positivity. And it starts to just naturally, like I find now at the stage that I'm at now that I'll have a self-limiting belief and it'll kind of be like, well, no, like it's like I have this internal fight between myself. And I'll have that positivity coming forward and be like, well, no, you are going to slay it. Like it's going to be amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And also off the back end of that, just reminding you that these changes don't happen overnight. You can literally make changes overnight, 100%, like the commitment to showing up for yourself, but like rewiring your systems in your body doesn't happen overnight and it does take a while, but consistency is key. It's like going to the gym, like building that muscle. It's the same as rewiring your brain and your belief systems. It doesn't happen overnight, but don't give up just because it hasn't worked in the first 7 days. And yeah.
Yeah, and believe in yourself, believe in the process. I feel like, you know, don't be overly toxic about it as well. I can't stand toxic positivity. We all go through our hot minutes, but just like believe in yourself and believe in the process and trust your intuition and the universe.
100%. On the back end of that, recognizing the potential damaging consequences if you continue telling yourself that you're unlovable, you're unworthy, you're fat, you're ugly, insert whatever your beliefs are here. We literally think 6,000 thoughts a year. 6,000 thoughts a day, and your thoughts become your reality. If you're thinking negatively about yourself, most of the time you'll continue to hold yourself like back from being your biggest cheerleader, your dream life, your dream partner, because you're consistently in a state of like negative thought patterns and beliefs. So yeah, that is the consequence of not committing to changing your limiting beliefs.
Yeah. So a good way to sort of make this like a second nature is to do things like post-it notes. We've talked about this before, lipstick on your mirror, note section on your phone, journal, vision board, you know, making sure that you are backing up those positive thoughts in numerous ways, in ways where you're going to gently remind yourself until it becomes like that second nature.
So adopting the habits of who you want to become. If you want to be healthy, start making those small choices every day to, swap up macas and cook something at home, or personal experience. Moving your body in whatever way feels good for you. You don't need to go lift weights straight away. You can just go for a walk or a gentle stretch, yoga at home. There's so many YouTube things you can do. If you're wanting to call in more money in your life, start a side hustle. Like, money's just not going to drop out of the sky into your bank account. So stop hoping and wishing and start putting things into action. Research side hustles, budgets, all of that sort of stuff.
Yes, I love that. It's like, yeah, just totally changing your whole persona almost to, yeah, it's like, it's so interesting to me how all of our episodes just intertwine with one another. Like, I feel like it's perfect timing, and they just sort of ebb and flow, and it's just like magic. I don't know. I'm just having a little moment of like, how magical is it that all of this just links together, and everything we bang on about, we truly believe in all of these things, but it's like we're also have gone through all of these things as well. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just had like a little moment there.
It's like the domino effect, really. Like, like when you smash out one limiting belief, it generally tips into another one. Like, I'm not lovable and I'm not worthy. They're kind of not intertwined, but if you start feeling worthy, you're going to start feeling more lovable, and like things will just like shift in your reality because your thought processes have changed and the way that you feel has changed. And then in turn, like, something's going to change externally to make you see that, but internally is where the shift really, really happens. And sometimes we can like look outside of ourselves, which is a new thing that me and Jules and I have been talking about, is like, home is within you. So when you start internally making those shifts within yourself, your external definitely does change. But when you stop looking external for the validation and everything like that, and get it within you, your whole life fucking changes. Like, you do feel worthy, you do feel lovable, you do feel magnetic, you feel fucking amazing. And 100% there's going to be times where you don't, but you have the tools and you've set that bar to come back to and to like ricochet off, I guess. So yeah.
It was literally us this morning. I was like, it's just so weird. I'm almost like waiting for something to happen, because the ebbs and flows of life right now are just so beautiful and seamless. And it's like, yeah, the energy is just so crazy in a way that it's just so good. And I just feel so aligned, and like everything's just the way it's meant to be. And I'm like, oh, because in the past, those past stories, those past beliefs I had, those beliefs from childhood would always, redirect me up, something's going to happen, and then something would happen. But, I'm just focusing more on all the positive things, all the things I do have, shutting those limiting beliefs down, being confident and like just owning it. It's cool.
Amen. I feel like we're in similar stages again. Like, you probably all hear it in our podcast, but we feel like we're like, even our menstrual cycle is like almost to the day. Like, we are just so in sync. It's so weird. Maybe that's a part of like why we are in sync with things, because of our bleed and everything like that, the cycles of the moon and stuff. But I was saying this to my mom last night. I'm like, the kids are good. Like, we got through school holidays. Like, obviously finances and stuff I want to work on more. But again, like, here for it, learning about it, all the rest of it. But like, yeah, it's maybe, our background, where we came from, we're like, when's the crash and burn going to happen?
Yeah, but it's like all the work that we've put in is finally coming forward. Like, we're kind of seeing that all now, and it's just a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling, and I hope this is like, not proof, but that you guys can see how far we've come from the stories that we share and the traumas that we've experienced, and that you're able to be like, I can feel this too, because you can.
100%, 100%. I'm so proud of us. But yeah, this is your evidence. That's another thing about changing your beliefs, is looking for evidence of people that have similar stories to you. That's a little bit of evidence, and are where you want to be, or not even where you want to be, but like have similar dreams, goals, ambitions, and they're chasing them. that's your evidence. So like pull that and be like, okay, that's evidence for me to know that someone else has done it and I can do it too. That's what I always look for. Like the coach that I've chose to do my course with over the last 10 weeks, her background is so crazy and like insane that you just wouldn't even read about it. And I was like, well, if she can fucking do it, then I can do it. And that's where my belief of, am I really delusional to think that I can have the life of my dreams? Like that's what started coming through for me recently. And like she's just a pure example of you can do fucking anything. Like she has haters and blogs and everything coming at her left, right, and center. And she's built multi-million-dollar businesses. She's fucking owning the online space and also has a life of freedom, sovereignty, and choice. And that's what I fucking want in my life as well. So looking for the evidence in your everyday life, even if it starts minuscule, looking for evidence, grabbing onto that and be like, if she can do it, I can do it too.
And celebrating those women. I feel like so often, like we get this internal jealousy sort of thing, and we're like, oh, like, and we want to find something negative, but it's like, just be like, yeah, you go, girl, like, slay it. So proud of you. Like, every time you tell me about this beautiful coach, I'm like, oh my God, like, what a beautiful woman and what she's gone through and what she's navigated, and the fact that she's changing women's lives. Like, even just the names of her courses, I'm like, wow, like, super powerful.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Evidence is everywhere that you can have the most amazing life.
Yeah. And don't forget that a lot of our self-limiting beliefs and doubts do come from childhood.
Yeah, it comes from other people projecting their shit onto you as well, growing up, and the circumstances that you were in as a child, and your mom and dad's beliefs, they get projected onto you as well, obviously unconsciously. But it's our duty when we become aware and when we want to start chasing our dreams and stuff to work through them as an adult. It's no one else's fault right now. Like once they become, in your awareness and everything, it's your responsibility to change them. There's no calling up your mum and dad and be like, fuck you for doing that and putting this belief on me. It's your responsibility to change that as an adult, because most of the time they probably don't even know that they really have those beliefs. They probably haven't sat with themselves long enough to actually understand who they are or have that self-awareness around what they portrayed onto you as a child. So giving them grace as well. There's something that actually we've both worked through with our mums are like whoop, whoop. Just working through their stuff like in their 50s, and I think it's really incredible to watch that. But imagine if you could do that in your 30s and then live the rest of your life so abundantly worthy and lovable and magnetic and everything like that. So
yeah. So just literally like start walking in that energy of the person you want to become. Write down the person you want to be, write a life script, manifest it, and start creating little actions, little steps towards completing those little habits. And you will notice like your world will start to change, and it'll be like, wow. And you'll be so used to, as we said, those negative things happening in the past that you'll still kind of be waiting. But as you go day by day and you're like, oh, actually it's good. It's great. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's getting better. We still have our hot minutes where we need to have a minute and like calm our central nervous system. But yeah, I promise you, if you start walking that energy, start talking in that energy, start living in that energy, you'll watch those self-limiting beliefs slowly start to fade away. Because at the end of the day, who really cares? Who matters? You do.
Yeah.
You do yourself. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. Doesn't matter about anything. It's that you are doing your destiny. And the universe is going to come in and give us lots of little beautiful things when we start to trust our intuition and, start believing in ourselves.
Amen. This is your permission slip, your sign or whatever it is to just start allowing old ways of being to fall away right now.
Yeah. You deserve to live the life that you want. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to love your body, love your past, love your present, love everything about yourself. And yeah, if it's in your awareness, then you have the ability to access that. If you're thinking about it, you can change it.
Amen. Are you brave enough, honey? Yes, you fucking are. Do you have the courage? Yes, you do. Do you have the desire? Amen, you do. It's all yours, baby.
Woo! I'm going to drop in with a quote there. The best way to overcome limiting beliefs is to replace them with liberating ones by Michael Hyatt. I feel like I've said one of Michael's quotes before.
Oh, I might actually have to look him up. He might have a book or something we might need to read.
Mm.
Another quote is breaking free from limiting beliefs is breaking the chains that bind you. Boom. I'm not sure who the author was, but yeah, how powerful, honeys.
And it really is breaking those chains of what we've learned in childhood. That is no one's fault, as you've said, but breaking those chains and creating our own belief systems. We are in control of our lives. We hold the power. And if we put all of these little beautiful things into practice, they're all going to start to work. And you're like a magnet. Like I'm walking outside lately and just being like, yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah, I never thought I'd get here, hey? Limiting
Either.
beliefs.
Oh,
Limiting beliefs.
goosebumps. Literally. And when you start becoming conscious of the limiting beliefs, you're like, catch it, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey, I never thought, like, thinking back to younger self, that I would have a voice talking on a podcast into a microphone with my bestie and just sharing all of our knowledge. One of my beliefs was I'm not knowledgeable enough, but here we are. So yeah, how amazing.
We have been through a lot. We have learned a lot. We have experienced a lot. And yeah, our mission, like our whole vision, is to share, and hope that something resonates with you. We know not everything is going to be like, oh yeah, I'll try that. That'll work for me. But we hope that you'll pick up some tips and tricks along the way. I know I've never done that activity that Daleen mentioned, where you write all of your limiting beliefs on one side, and on the other side you write, how you can kind of, was it how you can squash those, or what was the other side?
So you're right, all the limiting beliefs that you have now and the ones that you're wanting to believe, or to recreate, but people go as far as like sharpening out all the ones that are their current ones, so it's only the ones that are there. But it's just good to be aware of like what your current beliefs are, to change it into the new affirmation. But yeah,
I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do that after this episode.
Do it. No gatekeeping here, honeys. We want everybody to feel like empowered to know that, at any fucking given time, like we go through shit and we just have this this toolkit, and we just want to share it with you guys because it is so fucking powerful. And you wouldn't be going into your healing business and, coaching other women, and I wouldn't be stepping into my next level if I didn't work on these belief systems. Or I would have just stayed stuck being like, oh, I want to travel the world with my kids one day, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to do that. It's fucking coming. And it's only because I'm working through my shit. It's only because you're working through yours. So commit to yourself. Go all in on yourself.
No one's going to come and write you the steps on how to get to where other people who have overcome a lot of these things are. Like, there's no book on how to get to where the feeling that we are feeling today. There's no book on how to get here. There is lots of little books along the way that you can read. And the most important thing is what works for me isn't going to work for Daleen. What works for Daleen isn't going to work for me. And so it's about finding that niche of what's going to work for you. What's going to support you? What's going to calm your nervous system? What's going to bring you joy? What's going to change your belief systems? So these are the things that have worked for us. Take what you will, use what you will, and we hope you start to see some beautiful changes in your life. And if you do, share them with us, because we love that. We love hearing from you guys.
We believe in you and we love you.
We do. Thanks so much for tuning in to the EWP, guys.
Much love. Hello, beautiful humans. This is Daleen and Jules from the Empowering Women Project, and you're listening to the EWP podcast.
This podcast is for the women who know deep in their soul they are here for more. If you are done with the BS stories and limiting beliefs that are holding you back from your dreams becoming a reality,
Come jump in the driver's seat and pave the way back home to her. This is a space for you to feel seen, heard, supported, and accepted for who you are, who you were, and who you're becoming.
Celebrating you wherever you are in your journey. Sit back, grab a tea or a wine, and come empower yourself with us. Jules and Day, let's grow. Hello and welcome back to the EWP.
Hello, beautiful humans.
So today we're going to talk about all things being the person you want to be now, projecting forward.
Yeah, we just want to touch on kind of collapsing the time, but from the person that you are now and the person that you want to become. Sometimes when we're looking at our future self, we're it's so far away from who we are now. And all of it starts with just changing small little habits, if future you is healthy, if they eat healthy, if they, look a certain way, if they have this different energy about them, you can be that now. The only thing that's holding you back is the stories that you're replaying in your head that, I'm never going to be able to be that person because it's 400 steps away. Or if you're comparing yourself to people on social media that are at chapter 50 and you're still at chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
But just knowing that you have access to that person right now, if you want to bring more love into your world and love yourself more, you can do that now. Just start changing things in your life.
And it can seem overwhelming. If you're just starting out on your journey, the healing and the self-love and the affirmations and all of these things that you hear more so in our culture of today, all the things you're seeing on social media, it's wow, where do I start if I haven't started? Where do I go now? What do I do now?
Yeah.
And I think listening to podcasts and reading books is really helpful and beneficial to sort of get some ideas around that. And that's what we hope we can do, is we can give you guys sort of an idea of things that we've done that have really supported us and have supported other women in our lives that we've learned along the way. We've learned from our therapists, our psychologists, and that's been really powerful, is us learning from others so that we can come on and share with you.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can share with others as well. And not everything's going to resonate with you, but pick and choose what works for you.
Yeah, at least try it a few times before you're no, that's not for me. I've heard so many people. I used to run meditation classes in Ellie Beach, and there would be so many people that were I can't meditate and blah, blah, blah. It's well, maybe you just haven't found the right sort of music that you like, or like I mentioned in the last podcast, using a little bit of breath work and meditation together definitely really helps. So just trialing and error. Some things work at different stages in your life as well, and your beliefs change around certain things too. So don't just fully cancel out things just because quotations you can't do it, or you don't have enough money and all the rest of it. There's so many free resources on YouTube and Spotify and everything now.
And look in the direction that you really want to go. We've all been somewhere in life where we feel stuck, and we're stuck in our career, or we're stuck in a relationship we don't want to be in, or we're stuck in negative thought patterns, whatever it may be. And it's just really focusing on that direction that you want to go in and how you want to achieve those things, because as it always gets brighter. There is always, you always hear that saying, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Well, there is, because we're all here now, and we've all been through something in our lives, and we've all come out the other side.
Yeah.
So just believe in you, believe in yourself, believe in your capacity and your ability. And don't let anyone dull that sparkle. Don't let anyone dull that sparkle.
Yeah.
Shine.
Yeah, definitely. And a way that we are able to harness that is we do live scripting and vision boards. So do you want to touch on vision boards?
Sure, yes. So I have always done vision boards for, I used to be a scrapbooker, so I'd always sort of done them, but I never really knew the manifestation behind them, and going back to them and, really revisiting in them and harnessing them and believing in them. They kind of just sat there for many years. And now I think my ability to manifest and really believe that those things are going to happen. So it's almost like looking at your future self and being I've already got that. That's already mine. And you can put literally anything on there. You can put love, you can put relationships, you can put families, you can put business, careers, dreams that, books you want to write, whatever it may be, whatever your dreams and goals in your future is. You can go and you can do them on Canva, as we showed on our page recently when we did the EWP vision board. I did one on my personal page as well. And you can use Canva, or you can do it. Some people like to be really practical and crafty and do it in person. So you just get a bunch of magazines or a bunch of scrapbooking materials, like Cricut if you've got it, and print out a bunch of pictures and quotes and little sayings and little, not little, strong, big words that really hold power. And you're going to put them onto your vision board, and you can separate them, or you just really make it your own. It's so powerful. And you already picture these things happening, and you've got them. They're yours. You've got everything that your little heart desires. Of course, you're going to have to work for it, and you're going to take steps along the way, but it's just about really believing that they've already come true. They're already yours.
And if you're doing it like a physical vision board sort of thing, like invite your girlfriends over, get your kids involved in it as well. If you're not just doing it on your phone or a laptop or something like that. I've actually done some of those in probably about 3 years ago, where we called all the girlfriends over and we all did vision boards together, and it was really cool, like talking to each other about it. So it's another way to do it. And also another thing that we do, well, I do, is live scripting. So writing out like what you're, like the dream life that you're calling in. So like actually putting emotion in it. Like I have, like a part of mine says, when we drive up to like our first home, I get so excited. We pop the like finest bottle of champagne and putting the key in the lock, like actually feeling and visualizing, like I got goosebumps, feeling and visualizing what it's actually going to feel like, because there's a feeling that you're wanting to bring in. Like everything that is materialistic is because you're going to get a feeling from that. Like me owning my first home is security for my kids. If anything was ever to happen to me, or I don't know, it just is a security thing for me. And that's what I've always wanted, is just that stability in my life. So that's a feeling, and the excitingness like of actually being able to achieve that would be, I don't know, I haven't done it before, but I just feel like it's going to be one of those moments where I'm like, holy fuck, I actually did that. So
and the more you affirm something and you believe in it and you put it out into the universe, I swear, honestly, it comes back when you put in the work. And if it's so big, if it seems like so overwhelming and too big for you, write it down in little steps.
Because it's going to take action steps. Like for me right now, to own my first home, obviously because I own a business, I'm going to have to look good for the banks or the broker and whatever. So they're little actionable steps I have to take to get there. It's not just going to be like from one leap to the other, but it's about the journey anyway.
Someone's not just going to deliver a key to your door and be like, here you go, Daleen. Imagine.
I remember when conversations aren't going to like just fall onto you like while you're sitting in bed. Like you actually got to work for them. But it's all about that journey. You figure out so much more about yourself, you build grit, like all of the rest of it. So acting as though it's already yours, and just like collapsing that space in between from where you are now and the person you want to be. And if it's in your awareness, you can freaking totally have it. I'm such an advocate for that.
And do those small little baby steps first. Just do all those little steps, all those little steps. And every little step that you take, every deep breath that you take is one more step towards achieving that goal, achieving that dream, achieving that reality.
That song coming to me, breath by breath, you know. We should link it in the show notes. I don't know. It literally feels like when you put on this song, you're just like, I don't know, like something's coming for you. Like it's just beautiful energy.
Yeah. When I was life scripting, I remember messaging you when I was doing my life script on New Year's Eve day. And for the next year ahead and what that would look like. Because normally the way I do my vision board, but then I'll also do like manifestations, and I'll write out, I think sometimes 20 pages of manifestations. And I have swapped it this year and adopted the life scripting where, you know, I'm actually saying this has happened, and picturing exactly how I want it to be, what I want it to look like, the feeling. And I remember just feeling so happy and just so like I had tears when I was writing it, and it was just so powerful to do it that way. It was honestly life-changing to me. And I was writing about my future relationship, my future person, my future partner. And I messaged you and I was like, I can actually feel this. And you were like, I can actually feel it through your feelings as well.
Literally.
It's just crazy. Yeah, exactly.
And getting really specific on your goals. Like people like, I want to earn more money. Like, what does that look like for you? Like get to like, I want $10,000 in my emergency fund, or I want this amount for my house deposit, and this is a buffer. Like get so specific with your goals that like when it drops into your bank account, you're like, holy fuck, I did it. Like, and yeah, even like saying like, how am I going to know that I've reached that? Like when I open my bank app and it says this amount of money, like get so deep. I got so many goosebumps right now.
Yeah, I can see them for once. You always say this and I can actually see them.
Feeling into it is the emotion of it, feeling into those emotions. But
absolutely. And celebrate every step that you accomplish towards that goal or that vision.
Yeah.
Celebrate it.
Yeah. Because most
that's going back to gratitude.
Yeah. For sure. Because most of it is mundane, reaching that goal. Like when you reach that goal, like all of the little things in between are like, oh my God, I've got to go see my accountant, or I've got to go do this, or I've got to like sit with my budget every week or whatever. That's mundane, but celebrate that you're even doing that, because that's like edging you closer to your goal. Like
exactly.
Every single day, just work to it.
Yes. Every little small win is a huge celebration in the end result, in the end success.
Right?
An example for us is definitely our potty, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it was on both of our personal vision boards, I think, before we even realized it was.
And I just found out you were.
Yeah.
Yeah. My healers actually told me that.
Mine will be a bloody series.
Yeah. We'll turn into romance.
Absolutely. Amen. Affirming, locking it in.
Done.
But the potty is a huge example for us. And we sat on it for a long time. And not that we sat on it, but so many things were coming forward in our own personal lives, which I know we've touched on before, but also we didn't want to just be like, okay, we're starting this potty. We did the foundations, like we laid the foundations of it. We set our vision and our mission and our avatar and really dove deep into what we wanted to accomplish. And, we researched the heck out of editing and, which platforms to use and how to get it out into the world, and our socials. We're still really learning as we go. And it's definitely nowhere near as easy as it looks. But that's one example of something that we put on our vision boards or in our life scripts or our manifestations, and we're now actually making vision boards for our podcast.
Literally. And if we go back and we think about how we were putting it off, like I had a relationship and I just was in that for a little while, and I don't know, I feel all of the things that put roadblocks, but sometimes it's just our head, like that, just it's too hard or whatever.
It was coming up and it was like, oh, how are we going to do this? Like, it's a lot. And we just kept setting little goals and we would make little lists. Lists are amazing. Honestly, lists are like my best friend in the whole world. I have so many different lists in my notes. It's crazy.
She has lists on lists on lists. And notes on notes.
But that's how I hold myself accountable and how I stay organized. And when I achieve something on the list, I'll like go and put like a really celebratory emoji beside it. And you just got to find your little quirks and sort of what works for you and what brings you joy and what sparks that inner drive and that happiness and that ambition, and roll with it. When you find something that works for you, go.
Amen.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Another huge thing, which we talk about a lot, is healing. So healing from your past, because if that's still coming forward for us, we're not able to live in the present moment and really hone in and focus on those goals. Yeah.
Like before we started the potty, things were coming up with me with like fully being seen and heard and things like that. And even bullying. I remember I did a whole therapy session on bullying. Like I didn't realize that was still so like at the forefront of my mind, I guess you would say. Like the bullying I endured when I was in primary school and through high school and stuff. It was really hard to navigate that, but I feel like
and like, what are people going to think about you?
Yeah, and like, who actually gives a fuck what people think? Like, if you're not following your dreams, like you're going to go to the grave with them. And I touched on that in a previous episode as well. But like, imagine like getting old and just being like, oh, like I was 30 and I was hot as fuck and I just thought about like what everyone else will think. Like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Our own like cheerleader.
Yeah, you deserve to be in the future that you desire.
Literally. And if you're feeling unhappy and unmotivated and stuff, it's because you're not changing things up. You're not pursuing your dreams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Much like when we spoke about dating. So when we actually stop and we pour that love and that self-love into ourselves, we realize we don't need someone to fill that void. We can fill that for ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't have the right partner, you're definitely not going to project forward as well. So that kind of ties with this. Like, yeah, if you don't have a partner in your corner, like that you're in a relationship with that's pushing you towards your goals and you're doing the same for them, then like what's the point of that? You're meant to be each other's yin and yang and biggest cheerleader as well.
Yeah, amen. And I think as much as we held back and we, you know, had to overcome so many obstacles in doing this potty, I think that it came at the perfect divine timing, because we literally are both single, and we said, like, as much as, you know, we may or may not be ready to meet somebody if they were to come into our lives at this present time, because we're so happy in our lives with where we at and who we are at the moment. It's like we kind of derail you. And if I were to have stayed on dating apps and I were to have put some of my time and energy into the men on those apps that were not even giving bare minimum at this point in time, then it could have taken me away from where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So just being very aware of who's in your life, who's in your circle, who's in your relationship, who is around you, and are they supporting your dreams, your goals, your future?
Yeah.
Bam.
And if they don't add to your life, if they're subtracting more than they're adding, like salada, different doable. Like
easier said than done, as we know, but yeah, try your best.
Yeah. I think it's just having that awareness and having that communication with the people that are in your life, being like, look, I might be a little bit limited with like being, you know, able to answer your calls and texts right now because I'm building this podcast or I'm building this business or I'm in this new relationship.
Yeah.
And sometimes your energy does get diverted in little ways, but ensuring that you're chasing your dreams still, no matter what you're doing.
And the right person, the person that's meant for you, will truly understand all that you are, what you're going through, what you're doing, your dreams, your goals. They will support you.
Yeah,
I believe in it. Absolutely. I believe there is a man out there for me that is going to do that. And they're going to do it damn well. And I'm going to be like, wow.
Same, sister.
Mind blown. I'm going to be like, what?
I think that's where our deepest healing is going to actually come, is when we're in a safe relationship and we're actually going to be able to take down those other layers.
Exactly. And when we just have like a cheerleader supporting us on and, you know, listening and sharing our episodes on their Instagram.
Literally, when I said masculine, then I thought of like the drooling, like, gee.
Oh, yeah.
Social media has taken over.
Yeah, definitely. Content creation at its finest.
Literally.
But develop routines and surround yourself with people who have that growth mindset.
Environment.
Absolutely. You deserve it. And there's this book that Daleen recommended to me, pretty much like our second conversation. She was like, you need to read this book. It's called Break the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
He is a legend.
So I ordered it straight away. And I'm going to be honest, I read like 3 or 4 pages. And I just, at that point in time last year, I was just not there yet. I just wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't feeling happy. I'm sure this would have really helped and supported, but I just couldn't focus on the book. So it's been sitting, it's still on my nightstand. If you go upstairs in my room, it's sitting there in like waiting for its turn. But I'll let you speak to this book because you have so many positive things to say about it.
Yeah, I actually love Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has meditations as well, which are pretty epic, and he's got a few more books. But like, I was moving from Victoria to New South Wales, and it was like a peak of COVID. Like, we shouldn't have even gotten over the border of Victoria and New South Wales, but you know, we were guided, protected, safe, and loved. And we got over, and just things were happening, and my life was utter chaos. Like, me and the kids were moving around to different hotels and Airbnbs and stuff like that because there was limited housing. I remember walking into this bookstore one day just literally feeling like there was no hope, and I was like, I said to the universe or whatever, and I was like, give me 2 books that are going to change my life. And I don't know why these 2 books stood out, and it was Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And I literally recommend them to everyone. Julie just pointed at me like that.
Yeah. So Daleen dropped money into my bank account. Thank you, Daleen, for my birthday. And I'm so excited because nobody's actually ever done that for me before. And I just felt so loved.
Aww, it was such a lovely birthday.
I know.
You were so...
I was so celebrated this year. It was crazy because normally, like as a mom, sorry, my throat got a bit funny there. But as a mom, like I just you know, everything always goes to your child.
Yeah.
Like everything's constantly
Yeah.
going to your little one. But yeah, I felt so loved and celebrated. Anyways, I went to Kimba, a local sort of spiritual crystal shop. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get some things in here for myself. And I was drawn to the books that they had in there. And the book that I picked up was actually Love Your Life by Louise Hay. And I was so excited. I remember leaving. I got a crystal as well while I was there. Anyways, I remember when I was leaving, I called Daly and I was so excited. I'm like, oh, guess what I got for my birthday? It was, you know, I was ecstatic. And I told her and she's like, no way.
Yeah, so I was going to touch on the Dr. Joe Dispenza book, but these two books like paired together, like you Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That is talking about how you can like heal your body and pretty much change your life through like positive affirmations and all that sort of stuff. And she talks about all of different things that come up when you're holding trauma and stuff like that, which we'll touch on another time.
Yeah.
But the Dr. Joe Dispenza book, it just talks about manifestation and pretty much how to like surpass the time between who you are now and the person that you're becoming. And it literally honestly changed my life. I've literally started listening to it on an Audible a couple of weeks ago. I kind of go between a few books, but yeah, quantum physics is so powerful, and just like writing it, I think there was even an exercise in there. I get a little bit muddled up between books sometimes, but there was an exercise in there where I remember writing when I was in New South Wales in a motel, not knowing how I was going to pay for accommodation in Byron. We'll also do that in another episode because it was such a powerful story. And I was like, I am healthy, happy, living in Queensland, blah, blah, blah. We have got a house. And I was writing it out over and over and over again. It kind of reminds me of Bart Simpson in like The Simpsons, you know, where he's like writing out all of the things when he's in detention. I was literally writing that out in a manifestation. And just things kept happening, like the synchronicity and just believing that I was already there. Literally it was like something was pulling me and things were just guiding me. And I still cannot believe that we got over the border from New South Wales to Queensland in the peak of COVID restrictions. Yeah, with 3 children and a dog in our car, like it was unheard of. We hadn't lined up a rental yet or anything like that.
Into an apartment that doesn't allow you to have dogs.
Yeah.
Actually,
like there was so many things that were happening, and I just held that belief all the way. And if I didn't read that book at that time, I think I would have just lost hope. Like I said, when I went into that bookstore, I was like, I had no hope left. I was like, how am I going to provide for my children, like safety and security and stuff like that? But I thank Dr. Joe Dispenza for writing that book, and it just instilled so much belief into me. So yeah, if you're out there right now and you're listening and you're like, how am I going to call in my dream life? Or, you know, I'm just losing hope and like life is hard. I highly recommend you get those books. Yeah, on Audible, I think it's a little bit cheaper than what it is in like a hard copy book, which is like listening to a podcast, but it's on Audible. Definitely highly recommend those books.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you never actually recommended Love Your Life by Louise Hay to me ever.
Yeah.
And then when I bought it and I called you in the car that day, you were literally like, oh my God.
Is it Love Your Life by Louise Hay or You Can Heal Your Life? Which one did you get? I think she's got 2.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. But either way, like all her books are amazing.
Yeah, and they have the same sort of concept and idea behind them.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I just thought it was so funny that I grabbed that and you're like, book to everybody. And I was like, that's one you haven't actually recommended to me, because she gives me a book recommendation at least daily, if not 3 times a day. The girl loves her books.
You know, I used to hide that bit of me actually. Like I am like slightly geeky in a sense. And people always say like, oh, when they see me on social media, I kind of look like, there was this one person that said I look a little bit like doofy, like sort of like didn't know what I was talking about sort of thing. But when you meet me, no, but I kind of took that like I'm not showing my real self. And I've always been a little bit geeky in the aspect of I know I'm smart and intelligent, and I love learning about things like, especially like neuroscience and things to do with the brain and how we're able to, you know, change things in that. Like, I just love that stuff. I don't know if people just have their thing that they're drawn to, but that's definitely mine. And yeah, which is leading into the space of a podcast. Like, it's something that we both love to talk about, and we're going to talk more about your witchy woo woo stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's Julie, that's a part of you.
Yeah, it is a part of me. And I have my BA in psychology as well. So I'm really into like the brain and emotions and how we interact as people, who we are as people, what makes us tick, all of that fun stuff. So we've got lots and lots to share with you. We've got podcast episodes for days. So I hope you're loving it so far. And we are loving showing up for you. We're loving really bringing our knowledge forward and sharing that with you. And, we hope that you can take something of value from what we're saying and from our chats.
Even if it's just a book recommendation or something. Like, I listen to podcasts, I get one thing, like a walking meditation, or like I would take things and I'll actually try it. Like, you can be sitting here listening to all the information and then get off the podcast and just return to your old habits of scrolling and stuff like that, which scrolling is fine if you have positive things in your newsfeed. But yeah, if you're not actually like trying to implement the little things, or, your life is going to stay the same if you don't start changing the habits and your thought patterns and stuff. And it may seem overwhelming, but it literally is small things. Like, this has taken us years to get to the point that we are now. Like, years.
Absolutely.
It's not an overnight thing, and it shouldn't be that, because it is 150% about the journey. Like we always say.
were shocked actually when we realized, when are we going to find time to do this? And we were like, oh, what do we do in the evenings when it's our downtime? Scroll. So instead of scrolling, we've started developing content, coming up with podcast episode ideas, researching, taking notes, brain dumping, making Google Doc, applying Google Doc, which I love to do to be organized, making lists, which I love as well. But yeah, and we realized, oh wow. And once we get started, like, there are some nights where we're like, oh, we're tired.
And
then
kind of kicks in, or we kind of vibe together.
Exactly.
Hey.
And then once we start rolling and we start like editing an episode or something, you just get this like surge of energy, because you know your why, why you're doing something and the impact that it's having. And it just like fuels that fire and fuels you to like keep trucking forward and keep pushing yourself.
Yeah. I feel like when you're distracting yourself with things like, anything to do with anything, like if you're distracting yourself with scrolling, because in a sense it kind of does make you zone out of life a little bit, it takes the creativity away. I feel like once like you actually drop in your chair or wherever you're sitting, like, and you're actually focused, sometimes it takes me a while to get into the mode, but then like the edit will start sounding amazing or whatever, and then you get this energy, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to create this reel now, or I'm going to do this, or I'll do this post or whatever. Like, you actually got to make space for creativity to come in. And if you're consistently numbing yourself and distracting yourself, then I don't think you're allowing the space for creativity to drop.
Yeah, and get yourself a boss bitch bestie that you can roll well with, because on days where I'm hectically busy and I don't have a spare moment, there's Daylene on the stories, or days where Daylene is hectically busy, there's me sitting in the background editing an episode, being like, episode's ready to drop on such and such a day. We just have such a supportive dynamic where we just really use it like so well, I think, like seamlessly.
I think because we both understand how hectic like life can get. Like one phone call like can throw your whole day out, like then you're off doing something else and whatever. But I've been at work lately and I'm like, I just want to stop with the podcast. Like, I don't want to go to work anymore. But you still got to go to work in the meantime when you.
And the lists have really helped us.
Yeah, they have. They even help us during the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we make the list, it's always good because we'll be like, oh, I've actually got to spare 30 minutes in my day to do something. And we just go to the list and we know, okay, that's not ticked off. That's got to be done. We've got to do that. We've got to do that. And so I hope you guys see it and you feel it and you hear it. We pour so much love and devotion into this podcast and really bringing forward our vision of even just supporting one of you.
Yeah.
Which I know we have, because my friend and our beautiful listener, Leah. Hello, Leah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. She'll see you tomorrow. But she had let us know that she had listened to a walking meditation after hearing it on, I think it was episode 2.
Yeah.
And now she implemented that and she utilized that on one of her walks. And she's like, yeah, it was good for me. It was, it really made a difference. And it truly does. It takes you out of your head and all of the things you have to do and all of the things you think about, even when you're on a walk, and just grounds you and makes you take a look at your surroundings and really focus in on that present moment.
Yeah, your mind is so powerful as well. So if we can switch that around to be our best friend, then like life is just going to get a whole lot more seamless and a lot easier to navigate things. And yeah, putting the fear in the driver's seat.
No, thank you.
We've done
that today.
How long No, in the passenger
That's
seat.
old Daleen.
Yeah, it's old Daleen. Putting it in the passenger seat and just being like, we're going for the ride no matter what. And
Yeah.
pursue your dreams. Just go for it. Like, what have you got to lose?
Yeah.
Like, what have you got to lose?
Exactly. And if you fail, get back up.
Yeah. Fail stands for first attempt in learning. So yeah, always have that in your head.
Absolutely. But we appreciate you guys so much. And thank you so much for listening in today. And we hope you love this episode. Catch you later. We hope you feel inspired to take back your power. Thank you for listening into the EWP Potty with Jules and Day. We want to challenge you to share this potty with someone you love. Let's get all women involved. Follow us on Insta at empoweringwomen_project. Facebook and TikTok at Empowering Women Project.
We invite you to interact with us on our socials, our threads, and in our DMs. We are open to collaborating and invite you to reach out if you feel inspired to be a guest on our EWP podcast. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. We encourage you to start believing in yourself and the magic of the universe.